Well, good morning again. I'm back in Cheshire this morning, not far from where I live. This is the Shropshire Union Canal near Tiverton in Tarporley. And it's pre-dawn, and the nice thing about this morning is I've got mist. I have mist rising up over the water, so for the first time in absolutely ages I'm going to try shooting this with a large format camera, which is going to be a challenge because I can't see very much, so fingers crossed I managed to get something here. Now I'm going to have to crack on here because sun's up in about 15 minutes and then the mist will very quickly disperse. I don't think I've got the perfect composition, but I could do something with cropping later, and I think I will need to crop because there are some distracting elements at the side of the frame and also some deep shadows, but there's enough of a composition here to make it worthwhile shooting, and it's obviously going to be a black and white image. Now compositionally this shouldn't present too much of a challenge because the light's got up sufficiently now for me to focus on the narrow boat. And one of the things I like is the narrow boat has a lovely checkered pattern on the front which gives me a great aiming point. And that's also where I'm going to place my focus because I'm not too worried about the background dropping out gently out of focus if it softens a little bit because there's mist rising. It'll add to the appearance of the effect I'm going for, which is that ethereal background, early morning. So I've set the lens to f/22 and it is my standard 150mm lens. No filters, no movements. I'm thinking FP4 because it's going to add a little bit more punch, but then again HP5 may be the better option. Maybe I'll take a sheet with both, I'm not sure yet. Right, well that sun has broken through now, as you can see behind me. It's very dazzling, and also that's going to spell an end to this lovely morning mist. So I'm going to need to focus my camera away from that light, literally in the opposite direction. I can't point my camera at that. That's going to totally blow out. It's also going to drag the eye right out the frame to the top. Useless images that way. So I'm going to need to sort of follow the path in this direction where there is still some soft light, but time is limited now. Okay, glad to say I've got myself another shot. I have been marching up and down this canal bank now for about 45 minutes and I saw a couple of potential images that caught my eye and I was torn between the two, but fortunately that was reconciled by the fact that the sun came up and ruined one of them, which left me with the one you can hopefully see behind me, which is on the face of it just a tree, but this is a magnificent tree, and the nice thing about it is it's got the trunk right in the centre and it's not covered by leaves and branches, so this is going to make an excellent composition to fill the frame with my standard lens. Now, because this image has a little bit of movement in it, only a tiny bit on those branches at the front of the frame, I'm primarily shooting with HP5 Plus. Now that's a 400 speed film, and that's going to give me half a second. Now, half a second, if I wait for a lull in the breeze, should freeze the movement of those branches. And I've also, because the wind has been dropping a little bit, shot with FP4 Plus. Now that's a higher contrast film, 125 ASA. That may be a little bit contrasty for the scene, but the nice thing is I'm doubling up. I've got a shot taken with a 400 speed film and a 125 speed film. Not only will I get a choice of image contrast and definition, but I've got a backup, because if I cock up one of these frames, there's a bit of movement on the camera, or I put the wrong chemical in at the wrong time, which I've actually never done, which I probably will do now. Yeah, I've got a backup, because this has taken me 45 minutes to take this scene, and it's worth the extra £1.50 that the frame of film will cost me. Better be on the safe side. Well, I have another image. This is one which isn't the traditional landscape. This is the lush vegetation which is growing at the side of the canal. I did actually photograph these plants, not the exact same ones, 10 years ago with large format. I think I'll pop the image up here if I've still got it. And I remember thinking I must come back and shoot them. Well, here we are, 10 years later, so better late than never. Something else I've had to take into account though is the distance to my subject. I'm quite close. And as you get closer, beyond the normal focus range of the camera, it will actually start to dim the image. So I've used my little tape measure here to measure the bellows extension, and that's giving me an extra third of a stop, which I need to add to my exposure. So I'm shooting at half a second. HP5 Plus, 3 seconds with FP4 Plus. This should be enough exposure because the light levels are quite good now, even though I'm using f32 and a slight bit of front tilt just to keep everything in focus. Well, I've had a fantastic morning. It's not even 9 o'clock yet. I was planning to go and find some woodland to shoot in. I've got some infrared. But you know, I've really enjoyed just being down by the canal today. I don't really feel like getting my eye in on something else. This has been so enjoyable, so warm, so pleasant. Just a couple of people out walking the dogs. I think I'm going to call it quits for the day while I'm ahead. So I do hope you've enjoyed this short walk down the canal with me. And I'll see you again soon.